Confirmation in the last few minutes as I was running through the classifiers that Eberechi Eze is now officially a Arsenal player. The medicals passed earlier today. Personal terms were agreed. That news broke around about 3 hours ago. But in the last few minutes, news confirmed that Eberechi Eze is a gunner. He has made the move to North London, but he has moved to the red half of North London. And tonight, in the Saturday night football, Arsenal take on Leeds United.
Arsenal will want to make a sort of big song and dance, why wouldn't you, about his signing. So perhaps they're filming that. The club channels are filming interviews with him, and then he will be unveiled as a Arsenal player. The only thing that's surprising to me is that Gary Cottrell isn't in the room where Eze having his medical, because for the past few days Eberechi Eze must be sick of the sight of Gary Cottrell, because he's been doing a fantastic man-marking job on him. And I suppose once he signs for Arsenal, he'll probably breathe a huge sigh of relief, because not only will he be an Arsenal player, but probably he can get a bit of a rest from Gary for a few days.
Yeah, you'd think he'd be happy about that. Michael, what's Crystal Palace's side of this? Oliver Glasner was pretty downbeat about it, wasn't he, really?
Oh, do you know what? Crystal Palace, they won the FA Cup a few months ago, one of the greatest days of all their supporters' lives. Community Shield in the bag. They should all be so happy right now. But they're not, because Oliver Glasner has been so open. I was reading the quotes last night. Wow, I couldn't believe how downbeat he was on the situation. He knew that they would be losing a couple of big names this summer, but he wants big names in now. They know they're in the UEFA Conference League now. They could actually go and win that competition if they bring players in. They need to bring players in. They don't have Dougie Freeman anymore. They've recruited ever so well in the past. They got Eze from the EFL. They got Michael Olise from the EFL. But Glasner wants players in, and this is what he said to us a little earlier.
As long as I'm here, as a manager, I don't accept having a bad mood when we have such a maybe the best period in Crystal Palace history. So it's not acceptable to mourn about it, and that's why I always start with myself. That's why I said I don't want to talk about it anymore. You know, everything is clear, everything is communicated, and that's it. So I won't talk about any transfers until the window closes, or we confirm somebody leaving or somebody arriving, because I don't want to have this mood. Yeah, and of course, yeah, it affects you, but I don't accept this for myself, because this is a time to enjoy. This is a time players are doing so well. Players are really so committed to the way we are playing, to this group, and this is time to enjoy. You know, my responsibility is to take care of Crystal Palace. I'm an employee of Crystal Palace. I'm responsible for the team, for the football performance, and for this. You know, of course, I'm worried about Crystal Palace if we are losing players and don't get the right ones in. And it's nothing to do with Oliver Glasner. It's just, I think this is my duty as manager, yeah, to tell the owners what we have to do.
That's me. Nothing to do with Oliver Glasner. He's quite frank, isn't he? What do you make of those comments?
Look, Oliver Glasner is a fantastic manager. He's a fantastic communicator. I sense that he's getting a little bit frustrated with what is happening at Crystal Palace, and I think their summer has been ruined by UEFA. UEFA's decision, hugely controversial, to demote them from the Europa League to the Conference League, has really affected their summer and their summer planning. I think in normal circumstances they would have won the FA Cup. They would have known that Eze and Mark Gahey were probably going to leave, but they would have known that they were going to be in the Europa League. They would have planned for that. They would have brought replacement in. It would have been much calmer. But the problem is they had to deal with this UEFA issue. They were fighting UEFA for weeks and weeks and weeks. They lost that battle. Then they had to fight them again at the Court of Arbitration for Sport as well. So that took weeks and weeks and weeks. So their eye was off the transfer ball, because they didn't know which European competition they were going to be playing in. So I can see it from Oliver Glasner's point of view. I can also see it from the owner's point of view. They first had to deal with UEFA before dealing with transfers, and that's why at the moment it looks like they've been too slow in the transfer market, and I think that's why Oliver Glasner is a little bit frustrated.
What about
Maddison in pre-season, so clearly there is a space in the squad for someone like Eberechi Eze. We do know that there is interest from Tottenham Hotspur. We do know that there has been interest during this transfer window from Arsenal. But it's very interesting this because quite public that you are. If you miss out to the other club, then it not only means that you've missed out on a player that you want, but you've missed out to your biggest rival. So I think they're just trying to just keep it on the low at the moment. Arsenal, as I mentioned, there was interest earlier on in this transfer window, but at the moment, it feels like
Arsenal are currently engaged in negotiations with Crystal Palace regarding a potential deal for Eberechi Eze, as the North London club intensifies its efforts to bolster its attacking options ahead of the new season. Although no official bid has been submitted yet, Arsenal are understood to be preparing a formal offer for the versatile forward, who has impressed with his creativity, dribbling, and goal-scoring ability during his time at Selhurst Park. While talks remain ongoing, sources close to the club